Hey guys, so I'm here to talk about the Urban Decay Naked palette. I know that it's a kind of controversial topic because Urban Decay has actually decided to discontinue it. And strangely enough, I never actually owned the original Naked palette. I did, however, already own the Naked 2 and the Naked 3. Naked 2, actually, funny fact, is the first high-end palette, actually really high-end makeup product I ever owned. I started getting into makeup videos my freshman year of college because I had to do research on what is art paper, and I discovered, makeup artistry, and I got addicted, and so I made this decision to go buy myself a nice eyeshadow palette, and I did a bunch of research, and I personally am more of a cool toned girl unless it comes to red. Anything red, I'm all over. But I bought the Naked 2 when it came down to it, when I picked between the Naked 2 and the Naked original. Those were the only two out at the time. After that, I was gifted the Naked 3 when it came out, and I just never went back and bought the original Naked palette. It wasn't something that interested me. It, was warm tones, but also I never thought they'd really discontinue it either. It seems like such a cult favorite, a staple in everyone's makeup collection. And so when I saw they were discontinuing it, even though I really hadn't had any urge to own it before, I knew that as a makeup collector and makeup lover and lover of the Naked palettes that I needed it. So I bought it on the sale. I waited for it to come. I opened it. It looked really pretty. Again, not my typical wheelhouse for colors, but with it being summertime, I was like, I'll give it a go. So prior to this video, I have not worn the shadows, but I did touch them. I did swatch them, and I took some photos for my blog, which I will link below. I'm actually filming this video so I can make a blog post about it because I want to talk about this bad boy, especially with it being discontinued. But I wanted to share my thoughts on the original Naked palette since I hadn't worn it. Alright, so without any further waiting or listening to me jabber on, let's go ahead and get into the video, and I will show you this look right here.
Hey guys, so I'm going to jump right into this with the Glam Glow Glow Starter as my primer, and then I'm going to immediately take the star of the show, the Naked palette. So as you can see, I'm going to grab this giant fluffy brush, use it in my little color thing. I think it's like a color switch duo. It gets any pigment that might be on the brushes off. And I'm going to pick up a little bit of Buck and start working it through my crease. Actually, you know what? I apologize. That's Naked. So I'm going to start fluffing it through. I'm being very generous. I'm going from inner to outer and tapping off the excess. And I'm going to give myself a really rounded shape. I kind of have hooded eyes, so I like to really open them up by really giving myself a round shape. And I'm going to buff, and I'm going to buff, and I'm going to buff. And then now I'm taking Buck. And I'm going to go in with a darker shade on the exact same brush just to give it a little bit more dimension and start working it through that crease. I'm going to blend, 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 blend until my arms fall off. You have no idea how much blending I cut out of this video. Now I'm going to take a smaller crease brush and pick up a little bit of Hustle. And I'm going to work that kind of on my outer V. I'm going to work it a little also into my crease, but I'm going to mostly focus on that outer V right there. This is going to add a little bit of dimension, and I know most people tell you not to blend in your crease with a shimmery shadow, but I really don't think there's anything wrong with it. So I'm going to, again, work that onto the outer V on the other eye as well to add a little bit of dimension. I think that sparkle can add dimension. So I'm going to blend. And then I'm also going to pick up Dark Horse and do the exact same thing. Again, adding dimension, layering. I took out so much blending. This video was like 45 minutes. So I'm going to take another fluffy brush. This one has nothing on it. And I'm going to start to blend. And as you can see, I'm using those same wide sweeping motions, like the windshield wipers in a car. I'm going to blend, and I'm going to blend, and I'm going to blend some more. Now I'm going to take this flat shader brush, I'm going to spray it with some MAC Fix Plus, and I'm going to go into the shade Toasted. I'm going to load it onto my brush, and then I'm going to go ahead and start packing it onto the lid with little light sweeping motions, sorry about that, but mostly patting. I'm really just wanting to pack that pigment on for a really good shine. So, and to not waste Fix Plus, I actually use one side of the brush for one eye and the other side of the brush for the other. And so here I am packing it onto the other eye. And again, little patting motions. Now I'm actually going to take a little bit of Half Baked and put that right in the center. I didn't feel like there was quite enough glow going on, so there we go. Now I'm brushing off the excess and going in with my IT Cosmetics CC cream. I'm using my beauty blender to pounce that into my skin, especially now that my Glam Glow Glow Starter has set into my skin. I'm just going to pounce, and I'm going to pounce, and I'm going to keep on pouncing. So, man, beauty blenders take forever, but with my dry skin, they really are exactly what you need to use. So, and now I'm going to take a little bit of my Tarte Creaseless Concealer. This stuff's really tacky. This is, I think, the second time I've used this, so I'm not being too generous because it is kind of hard to blend out with how tacky it is, but I feel like that adds to the coverage and the fact that it really doesn't go anywhere. It stays all day. Now I'm going to, again, keep blending. Now I'm going to grab my Shade and Light palette, and I'm going to grab that lightest shade in there and set my under eye. This is the new Becca, oh, I love this. The Becca Hydra Mist powder. It seriously feels like you're putting water on your face. I ended up putting it on my husband without telling him, and he freaked out. Now I'm going to take a fluffy brush from Real Techniques, and I'm going to push this lightest shade, contour shade, around the sides of my face, kind of doubling as bronzing and contouring. I don't like harsh contour. I kind of like to meet somewhere in between. I'm also going to take my Tarte blush in Risque, and I'm going to put that onto my cheeks. I think it's a nice warm tone color, very neutral. I'm going to grab this Luxie brush and my Casey Holmes Smashbox Light Palette and Crank It Up Pearl, and I'm going to put those on. Now I'm going to grab my Anastasia Beverly Hills brow powder in Ebony, and I'm going to start working that through my brows. Guys, I spent forever doing my brows. I think I spent more time on my brows than anything else. I had to edit out so much brow footage. I have a problem. I love to fill my brows. If I don't wear any makeup, it's the only thing I'll put on. And so here is a nice condensed version for you. As you can see, I like to trace out the bottom of both my brows as evenly as possible so I know I'm getting the same shape. And then what I do is I go ahead and I fill in the top part, and then I fill in the tail. And then I go in and I actually shade it all in. But that's how I actually get mine to match, is I do a little bit of the same part on either side. Brush it through to kind of disperse that pigment, and I'm going to go ahead and set it with my NYX brow setting gel. I'm going to take a little pencil brush and that shade Smog or Dark Horse, and either one is good. I think I did a little mixture of both, and I'm going to blend it underneath my eyes to kind of smoke it out. Now I'm going to go ahead and take Virgin and work on my inner crease and go ahead and highlight my brow bone. Now I'm going to take my favorite Too Faced Better Than Sex mascara. I've been through 4 of these. I have a problem. And I know I put mascara on weird, but that's because I like to twist it and really tangle my lashes and pull, because I feel like I get a really good even coat that way. I also don't put on eyeliner. You'll notice that in this video. I'm not a fan of eyeliner. I don't think it does much for my eyes. I'll wear it occasionally. But here is my ColourPop Beeper liquid lipstick. I love this shade, and I love this formula. I find that it can be a little drying, but at the same time, like, it doesn't go anywhere. It is the price you pay, and I hate when my lipstick goes everywhere. It always gets on my chin, like it transfers, and also around the edges. So I'd rather just go with a drying lipstick, matte. That's my thing. It doesn't go anywhere. It stays put. So I'm going to go ahead and match up my Cupid's bow here, make sure I get an even shape, and smooth it on for some nice, complete covered pigment. And here you go. Here's the completed look. I hope you guys really like it, and I'm going to go ahead and jump into the rest of this video.
Hey, I wanted to actually share my final thoughts on the original Naked palette. You guys just watched me do this eye look right here, which I mentioned in the beginning that I'm more of a cool tones girl, and I definitely went for the cooler tones in the Naked palette. Not that there's a lot. I mean, they're still warm, but they do run cooler. They're not as warm as, you would suspect. So I stayed true to myself, that's for sure, with the colors. But as far as the quality is concerned in this palette, I think it's decent. It's pigmented, it swatches well, it applies well, it blends well. The mattes blend beautifully and smoothly. I do find that Naked and Buck are a little too similar for my taste, especially being, I believe, the only 2 mattes in this palette. I would have liked another darker matte or maybe a lighter matte, especially with Virgin and Sin. Those 2 look, again, very similar. If one of those had been matte, I think this palette would have been a home run. I know that it's being discontinued anyways. I wanted to share my thoughts with it being a cult classic and never having used it before. So it's smooth, it's pretty. I think it's definitely going to be missed, but I think there are other palettes out there with just as beautiful of neutrals and more matte options, which I'm not all about mattes. I love matte shadows. They're my favorite. They're my go-to. But I feel like if you're just going to slap on a shadow and be done with it, usually I go for a shimmer because I can just blow it out, and that's just the way I'll wear my makeup for the day. But as far as like a neutrals palette, obviously this is the one that started it all. It's the original, and all the others, base themselves off something like this. But for all of you who are worried with it being discontinued, I definitely wouldn't stress too much because there's a lot of really beautiful neutral palettes out there, and I think you're going to be able to find something that's going to work for you. So we will sorely miss you, Urban Decay Naked palette, that's for sure. I'm going to go ahead and get some good use out of it, especially with it being discontinued, and keep it for my makeup collection along with the Naked 2 and the Naked 3. but I'm glad I have the original 3 right here for my collection. So if you guys can find it in your local store still, I would definitely snatch it up. And if not, I mean, there's lots of beautiful shadows out there. Take your time, find the perfect ones for you. So that's going to conclude the end of this video. I hope you guys really liked the look, and I'll see you soon.